miss by Tyson. Good defensive tactics here by Holyfield.
People celebrate beauty as the golden ticket to Hollywood, and they often say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But reality isn't always a fairy tale. In those dazzling star-studded families, there are sometimes children with disfigured faces, marred by birth defects, burn scars, or hemangiomas. Those superstar parents flash smiles for the cameras, but deep inside, they hide the pain of their children's distorted appearances, fearing media scrutiny or public judgment of their innocent kids. They pour mountains of money into treatments, yet still can't restore their children's flawless looks. And so, behind the picture-perfect family photos are kids afraid to look in the mirror, terrified of stepping into the light. The 21 stories I'm about to share aren't just the tragedies of these children. They expose the silent pain these famous parents desperately want to bury forever. 21. Quincy Jones. The burn scar that haunted his daughter. Martina Jones for life. Quincy Jones, the studio wizard, etched his name alongside living legends like Michael Jackson and Ray Charles. Thriller sold tens of millions, and Grammys kept piling up because of him. In Hollywood, mention Quincy, and people nod, calling him a living monument of American music. But few know of another side of his life buried beneath those gleaming trophies. On June 14, 1978, Martina Jones, Quincy's 12-year-old daughter with model Ulla Anderson, was trapped in a small Los Angeles apartment. That sweltering evening, a faulty heater sparked, igniting flames in her bedroom. The fire spread quickly to the curtains, then the wooden walls. Martina was stuck inside. When firefighters broke through, she was barely breathing. Third-degree burns covered nearly half her body, especially her face, neck, and left arm. From 1979 to 1985, she endured 7 skin graft surgeries, hundreds of needle pricks, but her once pretty face never returned. Martina grew up with thick, disfiguring scars stretching down her neck, her left arm shriveled and unable to fully extend. From a lively girl, she locked herself away, dodging cameras and even the concerts she used to attend with Quincy. While her half-sister Rashida Jones shone brightly, Martina faded into the shadows, vanishing from red carpets, interviews, and stage lights. Quincy, the music wizard, became a helpless father. During Martina's hospital stays, he halted all projects. 2 major million-dollar deals were scrapped. From the studio, he shifted to living at Cedars-Sinai Hospital. People saw him slumped in waiting room chairs, funneling heaps of money to top doctors, hoping to bring Martina back. Over $2 million vanished into medical bills and therapy. Some say Quincy's creativity dried up, his spark dimmed, and the dude stalled because of memories of his daughter wrapped in bandages. To the public, he maintained an invincible image. But backstage, the aging wizard sat quietly, sometimes catching the faint burnt smell lingering in his daughter's hair, a poor child forced to vanish from the glamorous world her father built. 20. Bob Marley. A car accident that destroyed his daughter, Karen Marley's face. Bob Marley, the reggae legend, made Jamaica a global music icon. From No Woman, No Cry to Redemption song, he wove messages of freedom and resilience. An entire generation listened to Marley, believing in love and the hope for peace. But few noticed the shadow behind his radiant glow, his daughter, Karen Marley. On March 22, 1975, 4-year-old Karen was in the back seat of her mother, Janet Hunt's old car, speeding down Hope Road in Kingston. From the opposite direction, a logging truck barreled through an intersection, smashing their car like a tin can. The windshield shattered. Glass shards slashed Karen's right cheek and left eye. The ambulance's wail that day haunted Bob Marley until his final years. Karen was rushed to the University Hospital of the West Indies, but doctors could only save what was left. She lost 80% of her vision in her left eye, her right cheek crisscrossed with scars. Years of skin grafts and stitching only patched her up, never restoring her once cherubic face. From a standout in the family, Karen became a hidden name, retreating to a quiet corner of rural Jamaica, far from stages and the legendary concerts her father and siblings lit up worldwide. Ziggy, Stephen, and Damien shone, while Karen lived silently by a grassy field, carrying memories as shattered as that car's glass. Bob Marley was no longer the carefree father after that tragedy. In the second half of 1975, his international tour schedule was slashed. Rasta Road gathered dust for nearly a year before its 1976 release. Bob was drained in the studio, his mind haunted by images of Karen unconscious in a hospital bed. Over $100,000 went to surgeries, doctors, and therapists. But no bill could erase the scars etched on Karen's cheek. Bob grew quieter, dodging most family-related interviews, shielding Karen from cameras and reporters. Only close family knew he wrote his darkest reggae songs, locked away in a wooden drawer, never released for fear of exposing that pain. In his final days, Bob still agonized over his daughter's disfigured face. 19. George Foreman. The painful disease, tormenting his daughter, Leola. George Foreman, the heavyweight boxing titan who broke opponents' ribs with a single hook, turned the Foreman grill into a million-dollar machine. On the ring or on TV, Foreman always appeared with a beaming smile and jovial charm, radiating unbeatable energy. But few know that behind the iron-fisted image lies a tender wound buried deep. His daughter, Leola Foreman, whose youth was swallowed by darkness. On September 8, 1990, 15-year-old Leola noticed hard, stone-like patches growing on her neck, spreading to her face. Texas doctors diagnosed systemic sclerosis, a rare, incurable disease. Her skin thickened into grotesque scars, distorting her forehead and chin, twisting her face unrecognizably. The girl who once smiled brightly beside Foreman was gone. For 5 years, Leola stayed at the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota, undergoing costly treatments. But the patches spread, tightening her facial muscles, sinking her eyes deeper. She withdrew from family gatherings, refusing to appear at events where her father was the star. No media, no ringside. She hid behind the gates of Foreman's Texas ranch, living silently as the scars thickened daily. George Foreman, the knockout king, was floored by an invisible punch. After Leola's diagnosis, he cut back on fights. A hyped rematch with Mike Tyson, eagerly awaited by fans worldwide, was scrapped. $3 million from Foreman Grill profits poured into dermatology research. People saw him grin on TV, but none knew he sat alone at night, watching Leola hide her face under a blanket. Foreman founded a charity for kids with rare skin diseases and returned to the ring, but no undefeated title could soothe the gnawing pain inside. In the early 90s, he lost matches he shouldn't have, and the press speculated wildly, unaware that his greatest weapon, his iron spirit, had been broken. Until his final days, he kept Leola's story private, letting people assume his losses stemmed from weakness or lack of skill. 18. Stevie Wonder. A heart aching for Kwame Morris, the son born with a disfigured face. Stevie Wonder, the blind genius of soul music, gave us Isn't She Lovely, Superstition, and I Just Called to Say I Love You. From a boy playing piano in darkness, he turned every stage into an explosion, collecting Grammys and spreading hope through music without needing light. But Stevie's life wasn't all glory and timeless hits. On August 6, 1988, Kwame Morris was born with Treacher-Collins syndrome, a rare condition disfiguring his face from birth. His eyes slanted upward, ears were tiny, and his lower jaw was so short his profile seemed pulled inward. In his early years, Kwame was shunned by peers, their stares turning away. Stevie, though blind, felt the whispers and cruel taunts his son endured. He rushed Kwame to Children's Hospital Los Angeles, spending on 5 reconstructive surgeries until 1995. Surgeons reshaped cheekbones and jaw, but Kwame's face remained strikingly different, never like a typical child's. Growing up, he avoided cameras, never played piano with his dad, never sang or held a mic, quietly working as a sound technician and composer backstage. Only Aisha, Kwame's sister, was known to fans. Kwame hid behind a low-pulled cap in backstage corridors. Stevie Wonder stumbled many times, hearing doctors say his son would never have a normal face. During treatments, he slashed tours, canceled European shows. Over $1.5 million went to hospital bills and therapy to help Kwame face mirrors without fear. In 1990, Stevie founded a charity for children with deformities, advocating for those labeled abnormal. But it didn't change the painful truth about his son. Kwame's shock dulled Stevie's inspiration, making his early 90s music sadder, heavier with helplessness. 17. Willie Wilson, a gas explosion that stole Jamal Wilson's childhood. Willie Wilson, the speed star of the Kansas City Royals, electrified stadiums with his blazing dashes to home plate. He was a symbol of explosive play, turning hits into weapons that led the Royals to glory. Fame, fans, money. Wilson lacked nothing, yet all that couldn't change his son Jamal Wilson's fate. On November 17, 1982, 10-year-old Jamal was at his grandmother's in Kansas City. A gas stove leaked for hours, unnoticed. When Jamal lit the burner to roast marshmallows, the tank exploded, flames engulfing his face, chest, and left shoulder. The kitchen collapsed, the stench of burnt flesh clinging to his clothes. Ambulances rushed him to the University of Kansas Medical Center. Doctors said third-degree burns would leave permanent scars. For over a year, Jamal lay bedridden, skin grafted repeatedly. His once round face was disfigured, scars stretching from chin to forehead, down his left shoulder. He vanished from sports events he loved, fearing pointing crowds. From then on, no one saw him beside Willie Wilson. No father-son photos surfaced. Jamal grew up quietly, hiding in the family's deepest shadows. Willie Wilson crumbled inwardly. From late 1982, he missed MLB games, losing his rhythm, making 1983 a stain on his stellar career. Over $500,000 went to surgeries and therapy to help Jamal face the world again, but it was futile. From the day Jamal was hospitalized, Wilson smiled less, spoke less. After retiring, he vanished from the spotlight, leaving behind a gold medal and an unseen scar, the one tied to the gas explosion that buried Jamal's childhood in charred skin. 16. Eddie Murphy, a horrific highway accident that devastated Zola Murphy, a dark corner Hollywood never saw. Eddie Murphy, the $100 million comedian, lit up box offices with Beverly Hills Cop, Coming to America, and Shrek. A master of laughs, he turned the mundane into Hollywood gold. For years, Murphy held strong, grinning wide, earning billions, seeming untouchable. But he once broke down, nearly unable to recover because of Zola Murphy, a name erased from the Murphy clan's glitzy roster. On May 23, 2005, 16-year-old Zola snuck out, borrowing a friend's motorcycle, speeding down Sunset Boulevard. The starry street dazzled, but that night, Zola only saw blinding headlights before everything went black. Her bike lost control, crashing into a concrete barrier. She flew off, smashing her cheekbone and jaw. Ambulances screamed through the night, rushing her to Cedars-Sinai. From June 2005 to March 2006, 4 surgeries rebuilt bones, grafted skin, and stitched meticulously. But Zola's face was never the same. Scars ran from cheek to ear, her cheekbone misaligned, her lips twisted. When she smiled, the girl who loved dressing up and attending chic parties vanished behind the Murphy mansion's doors. She stopped posing for photos, skipped red carpets, and was nowhere near Bria or her high-flying siblings. Eddie Murphy still cracked jokes on TV, but few knew he quietly pulled out of major projects. His Dreamgirls role, which had Hollywood buzzing, was dropped as he stayed by Zola's side. Over $2 million went to hospital bills, therapy, and cosmetic surgeons. But no stack of bills could restore his daughter's confidence. From then on, Eddie grew guarded about his kids' private lives, blocking paparazzi from Zola. Only close friends noticed his performances toned down, his laughs shortened, his mid-2000s career stalling. To this day, Zola lives in the shadows of the family mansion, lost outside the Murphy glow Eddie built. 15. Evander Holyfield. The chilling truth about Ewan Holyfield, the son whose smile cancer stole Evander Holyfield, the name that made heavyweight boxers tremble, famously toppled Mike Tyson, turning the ear bite into one of boxing's most haunting moments. The Holyfield family carried championship belts, iron fists, and an undefeated spirit for decades in the ring. But beyond that glow, in a gated Georgia home, lived Ewan Holyfield, a son crushed by fate from childhood. On April 12, 1998, as Evander prepped for a title defense, 12-year-old Ewan complained of eye pain and blurry vision. Atlanta Children's Hospital kept him for urgent tests. The diagnosis: retinoblastoma, a rare, fast-spreading eye cancer that could kill if untreated. Within 3 weeks, doctors removed his right eye to save his life. The pain didn't end there. Ewan endured chemotherapy, losing his hair, his face thinning, the eye socket sinking, and the surrounding skin turning pale. The cancer was stopped early, but not his face. From 1998 to 2002, he underwent 6 surgeries for grafts and bone adjustments, yet his face remained distorted, impossible to hide. Classmates stared with pity, then drifted away. Ewan withdrew, hiding in the Georgia house, never appearing at his father's press conferences or boxing events. While Elijah Holyfield was hailed as Evander's heir, Ewan vanished from the family's powerful lineage. Evander, once proud with every punch, crumbled for his son. From May 1998, he slashed fight schedules, passing on $1 million bout with Lennox Lewis that fans across America awaited. Over $1 million went to drugs, surgeries, and research, but no dollar saved Ewan's sunken face. In 1999, Holyfield founded a cancer charity for kids, funding research and speaking out, but it inadvertently cost him focus in the ring. For a time, fans saw inexplicable losses, slow punches, dazed eyes, as if he couldn't see his opponent. The world later saw Holyfield rise again, claiming titles, but not Ewan. A boy with one eye, living quietly in darkness, bearing scars no money or power could erase. 14th Rev Run. The painful childhood of daughter Miley Simmons, haunted by chemical burn scars behind Run DMC, Rev Run tied to Run DMC, the legendary rap group that turned hip-hop into a global cultural empire from New York streets to world stages. He also starred in Run's house, making the Simmons family a vibrant, glamorous, pride-filled model household. But behind the cameras, few saw Miley Simmons, the quiet daughter nearly erased from every frame. On August 19, 2007, 9-year-old Miley visited a New York Science Center with her class. Disaster struck when she curiously bumped a shelf, spilling a bottle of sulfuric acid in the lab. The corrosive liquid splashed her left cheek and neck, burning through her soft skin, leaving red, raised scars like veins etched into her flesh. The school panicked, rushing Miley to Mount Sinai Hospital, where she stayed for 4 months. Doctors tried fading the scars with grafts and lasers, but chemical burns don't vanish easily. Her left cheek contracted, her neck scarred deeply, enough to make Miley dread mirrors. Rev Run, the ever-smiling man, collapsed seeing his daughter cower in the hospital. As she was admitted, he shelved plans, paused Run's house for 6 months, and declined ad deals. Over $800,000 vanished into cosmetic surgeries, medications, and therapy. But no money erased the scars, and Miley stayed withdrawn, avoiding cameras and skipping later Run's house episodes. Only a few knew She stood behind staircases during filming, hearing Vanessa and Angela's laughter, but never stepping out. This turned Rev Run from a laid-back dad to a strict one, cutting off chances to bring his kids into the spotlight. The fun rapper dad image faded. Run's house lost viewers from 2008, ratings plummeting. The family's TV laughter became a glossy mask, hiding Miley's scarred face. 13. Blair Underwood. His son, Blake's face, slashed in the middle of the street. Blair Underwood, the man who drove audiences wild with his suave charm in LA Law and Quantico, was loved for his pristine, scandal-free family man image, always shining as an A-list star. But behind the tailored suits, Blair lived with a horrific obsession over Blake, his son nearly erased from family photos. On February 3, 2010, a grim day swept Los Angeles. 14-year-old Blake, fresh from school, was ambushed by a group of thugs. No one knows if it was robbery, intimidation, or a warning, but the aftermath was unforgettable. In minutes, iron rods and a blade slashed Blake's face. His jaw broke, cheekbones shattered, a deep scar ran across his cheek. He collapsed on the sidewalk, rushed to UCLA Medical Center. 3 surgeries from February to August that year couldn't restore his old face. Hearing the news, Blair Underwood, who strode red carpets like a god, vanished from sets. In March 2010, he dropped a major role in the event, declining other offers to stay by Blake's bedside. Over $600,000 went to surgeries and medications. Despite efforts, the scar remained, pushing Blake into a private world, hiding behind locked doors from paparazzi flashes. The attack changed Blair. The thugs were never caught, their identities unknown. He threw himself into anti-street violence campaigns, funding security cameras and self-defense classes for teens around Los Angeles. From then, his public appearances dwindled. The once polished, proud Blair retreated backstage, and Blake's name remained tied to a painful memory the family couldn't erase. 12. Mike Tyson, a fun outing turned into a horrific memory for son Amir, Tyson. Mike Tyson, a name that sent chills through boxing, a ferocious fighter with devastating hooks, heavyweight champion with fame, fortune, and endless drama. But few know he once broke, not from a ring punch, but from his son's horrific accident. On July 27, 1997, at Six Flags in New Jersey, 10-year-old Amir, whom Tyson kept private, was thrilled to ride a roller coaster with family. What should have been a joyful memory turned nightmarish. As the coaster sped along, a metal piece broke loose, striking Amir's face. A deafening crash, Amir's screams, then silence as he passed out. Adults frantically carried him off, ambulances racing him to Robert Wood Johnson Hospital. Doctors performed emergency surgery. One operation wasn't enough. From July to December, Amir endured multiple surgeries to save his eye, nose, and facial skin. They saved his life, but his face was permanently disfigured, one eye nearly blind. Amir withdrew into darkness, no longer joining his dad ringside, avoiding media and cameras. Mike Tyson heard the news while prepping for a major fight. He scrapped all plans, including a high-stakes Holyfield rematch fans were ready to pay millions for. Over $1 million went to Amir's medical care and therapy, but money didn't heal the scars or his son's fear. After the shock, Tyson fought with a wandering mind. Late 90s matches saw him lose repeatedly, his form crumbling. Boxing insiders whispered, Tyson was no longer the beast, his recklessness gone, crushed by fear for his son. The Iron Giant grew unstable, prone to outbursts and breakdowns. Amir's facial scars lingered, reminding Tyson that no wealth or fame could shield against sudden tragedy. 11. Terry Crews. A kitchen fire that destroyed daughter. Winfrey Crews' childhood. Terry Crews, known for his chiseled muscles, goofy dance moves, and radiant smile in Brooklyn Nine-Nine went from NFL fields to Hollywood comedies, exuding unstoppable energy, inspiring millions. But behind that glowing image lies a wound that never healed, etched on his beloved daughter's face. On March 15, 2008, Terry's Pasadena home became a nightmare. 12-year-old Winfrey, his daughter with Rebecca, wanted to help cook dinner. Oil sizzled on a gas stove. As Winfrey handled the pan, oil splashed onto the flame, igniting a fierce blaze. In seconds, fire seared her face, neck, and right shoulder. Screams, burning smells, and chaos filled the kitchen. Terry rushed from a film set, seeing his daughter's blistered face. Winfrey was admitted to Huntington Hospital that night. From March to December, she endured 5 agonizing skin graft surgeries. Despite efforts, raised scars marred her face, neck, and shoulder, haunting to see. The once smiling girl who loved red carpets locked herself away, shunning friends and family photos. Terry watched his daughter withdraw, helpless. He spent over $700,000 on surgeries and therapy. His personality shifted, less loud, less open. He turned down a lead role in 2009, a chance to become an action star, to stay with Winfrey. Instead, he launched kitchen safety programs and survival classes across California. But behind his speeches, he quietly wiped tears, seeing his daughter's scars trap her in a guilty memory, reminding Terry that a single spark could destroy all joy. 10. P. Diddy, daughter Chance's face, disfigured by chemicals. P. Diddy, the rap titan who ruled with Bad Boy Records, threw lavish parties that left the world in awe. But behind his mansion's doors, he crumbled over a horrific accident involving his youngest daughter. On October 9, 2009, 3-year-old Chance was at a New York preschool when a chemical spill occurred during a craft session. An ammonia bottle used to clean tools tipped over. Curious, Chance got too close, and no one stopped her in time. Acid fumes burned her cheek and forehead, leaving blotchy scars. She was rushed to New York Presbyterian Children's Hospital, staying 3 months, undergoing skin grafts from October to December 2009. The scars remained, burdening Chance with insecurity. Once carried proudly by Diddy on red carpets, she vanished from events. The bad boy mogul blamed himself, shelving Last Train to Paris, dropping million-dollar projects, and spending over $1 million on cosmetic surgeries to help Chance cope. But the scars persisted. Chance grew up private, never joining her half-siblings in shows or videos. Her story became an unspoken haunt, while Diddy hid his heartache behind a tough facade. 9. Shaun Kemp, a fireworks party nightmare-left son, Malik with lifelong scars. Shaun Kemp, the NBA dunk king, electrified the Seattle Supersonics in the 90s, his name tied to devastating scoring plays. But few know July 4, 1996, became his darkest memory. That night, 8-year-old Malik Kemp, rarely seen publicly, was at a backyard fireworks party in Seattle. Amid the dazzling display, a faulty firework exploded near Malik's face. The deafening blast sent flames across his cheek and left hand. Malik collapsed. The panicked family rushed him to Harborview Medical Center, where doctors grafted skin for 3 months. But the scars disfigured his face and hand. Nearly $500,000 went into surgeries, yet the marks remained. Malik withdrew, refusing to appear with his father. Shaun Kemp was shattered, his performance tanking. In 1997, he struggled on the court, criticized for his decline. That fireworks explosion didn't just burn Malik's skin, it torched Shaun's dreams, pulling him into years of silence. 8. Master P, daughter Inti Miller's rare skin disease. Master P, the No Limit Records mogul, shook charts and built $1 million family brand. But behind the dazzle was a dark secret. On December 12, 2004, 11-year-old Inti Miller fell ill after a fever. Doctors diagnosed pustular psoriasis, a cruel disease eating away her face and neck, leaving red, peeling patches and rough scars. For a year, Inti was bedridden at Oxnard Hospital, enduring treatments and skin braces, but the stubborn scars kept returning. Once a regular at her dad's shows, she now feared mirrors and avoided family gatherings. Master P broke seeing her hide. He poured over $600,000 into medications, but no amount brought Inti back to the spotlight. As she locked herself away, No Limit lost its fire. Master P grew quiet, his empire stalling, sealed by family pain. 7. DMX, daughter Sasha Simmons' tragedy from a bike fall. DMX, the rap stage beast, roared with "It's dark and hell is hot," cementing his name worldwide. But no one expected June 25, 2003, to cut deepest in his blazing life. 7-year-old Sasha Simmons fell off her bike into a rocky ditch in Yonkers. The crash broke her cheekbone, tearing her face and forehead. For 4 months, she lay in Westchester Medical Center, undergoing 3 surgeries, yet scars remained vivid. Her changed appearance made Sasha withdrawn, avoiding her father's side. DMX, already fiery, lost control. He postponed tours, delayed Grand Champ indefinitely, and spent over $500,000 on surgeries. But the more he tried saving Sasha, the deeper he sank into alcohol and drugs, escaping reality. Sasha vanished from crowds, and DMX slid from rap's throne, haunted by regrets. 6. Chris Tucker, son Jamal's accident on Lake Lanier. Chris Tucker, the rush hour golden boy, lit up Hollywood with his quick wit and million-dollar lines. But at his peak on August 8, 2006, tragedy struck. 10-year-old Jamal Tucker was boating with family on Lake Lanier, Georgia, when their boat crashed into a submerged rock. A metal shard slashed Jamal's cheek and forehead. He spent 3 months at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, enduring 4 surgeries, but deep scars marked his cheek and forehead. Tucker, racked with guilt, dropped promising roles, including Rush Hour 3, despite lucrative offers. Over $600,000 went to medical bills. His signature humor faded, and after the shock, Tucker went quiet, only appearing when unavoidable, his sparkle dimmed by a tragedy nothing could undo. 5. Jason Caffey, daughter Tierra's face, ravaged by lupus. Jason Caffey, a Chicago Bulls champion, basked in NBA glory, fame, and adoration. But off the court, he carried a nightmare no title erased. On February 14, 2001, while players partied, for Valentine's, Caffey quietly took 9-year-old Tierra to Northwestern Hospital, Chicago. A diagnosis of systemic lupus erythematosus crushed all hope. Tierra's face broke out in red, ulcerated patches, peeling and scarring her cheeks and nose. No drug stopped the disease's return. Tierra stayed hospitalized often. Caffey spent over $400,000 on treatments, vanishing from community events and retreating from the NBA, living quietly despite 2 championship rings. Tierra, fearing stares, never sat in the stands where her dad shone. Her scarred face sank a Jason Caffey who could have gone further. Behind the Bulls' lights, a silent father held his daughter, stepping away from glory as others mourned his loss. 4. Omar Epps, son Amir's face, marred by shattered glass. Omar Epps, a familiar face in House MD, was a model for successful black actors, thriving in Hollywood, but his life wasn't all roses. He collapsed over a horrific shock involving his son. On April 30, 2009, 8-year-old Amir Epps was on a Brooklyn school bus when a truck crashed into its side, shattering glass that sliced Amir's cheek and eye. He stayed at Kings County Hospital from April to August, enduring 3 reconstructive surgeries, but deep scars and partial vision loss slammed shut his childhood. Omar paused House MD filming for 3 months, spending over $500,000 to save his son, then quietly withdrew from major roles. That crash didn't just ruin Amir's youth, it broke Epps' golden Hollywood streak. 3. Ray Lewis, son Rayshad's face. Burned on one side, Ray Lewis, tied to the Baltimore Ravens, was a steel NFL icon, terrifying opponents on the field. But few knew the unyielding haunt of his son Rayshad. On September 17, 2005, 11-year-old Rayshad was near an old Baltimore warehouse when leaking chemicals caught fire. A small explosion sent flames across his face and chest. He collapsed, severely burned. Rayshad stayed at Johns Hopkins Medical Center until year-end, undergoing 3 surgeries, but raised scars covered half his face. He hid at home, avoiding football events he once loved. Ray Lewis froze. He cut practices, tanking his 2006 season. Over $600,000 went to treatments, burning not just his wallet, but his invincible leader image. 2. Rick Ross. The secret of daughter Toy's disfigured face. Rick Ross, the Port of Miami mogul, filled stages with chart-topping hits, thinking his life was perfect with wealth and glory. But reality hit when Toy, his closely guarded daughter, faced a rare illness. On November 20, 2010, 9-year-old Toy showed odd symptoms. Her face distorted, eyes bulging, jaw misaligned. Miami Children's Hospital diagnosed Apert syndrome, a rare genetic disorder crushing her dreams of following her dad. 4 surgeries costing $700,000 over 2 years couldn't normalize Toy's face. She hid from hip-hop's glitzy events, dodging the spotlight Ross often shared with family. He canceled shows, delayed Teflon, Don staying by Toy's side. Rumors blamed his health for his slump, but few knew the untold story of a father shielding his daughter from judgment. Ross later became a voice for kids with genetic disorders, hiding his pain. 1. Nick Cannon, Sunrise, Messiah, always hidden, due to a hemangioma. Nick Cannon, the vibrant masked singer-host, set TV ablaze with witty rap and charm, despite loud romantic scandals. But few know of Rise Messiah, the son he kept from the media. On February 5, 2023, 5-month-old Rise was diagnosed with a large hemangioma on his cheek and forehead. Within weeks, his tiny face distorted, the red, raised mass haunting anyone who saw it. The family rushed him to Children's Hospital Los Angeles, enduring laser treatments and surgeries for 6 months. Nick skipped Masked Singer tapings, staying bedside, spending over $800,000 to spare Rise from public scorn. But scars and discolored skin remained, a fear for Nick's family. Rise vanished from social media, and Cannon's on-screen spark dulled. Some say Nick lost his wit, but few know the pain behind his forced smiles, a father aching for his scarred son. The glamour you see is just the surface. Behind it, families strain to hide children with disfigured faces. The physical wounds of these kids may partially heal, but the emotional scars linger, haunting both them and their parents forever. If these stories opened a new perspective on their lives, drop a comment below to share your thoughts. And hit that subscribe button now to catch more secrets waiting to be uncovered. The truth behind showbiz's glow is vast, and I'll keep telling you more.